Sad news awakened the kingdom that morning. The old, kind king, loved by all for his fairness, was dead. Sadder still was that he left behind only a small daughter who was unable to rule the kingdom. He had left a will behind, and in that will, a note for his daughter. In order for you to be queen, you must bring the sun to the palace, or spend the rest of your days trapped inside of a wooden box as punishment. She summoned the wise man of the kingdom. She told him of the impossible task that her father had left her with. She told him that she does not want to be queen. Ya Habibti. The rules of the kingdom were written long ago, and they forbid any prince or princess from refusing to rule. You are the king's daughter, and you can't help but to be a queen. This kingdom has ruled in harmony for so many years because every person knew their role and nobody tried to escape that role. Your father was a wise man indeed when he said that you must bring the sun to the palace or spend the rest of your days trapped inside of a wooden box as punishment. Came up with a plan. She was going to climb up the tallest mountain, and when the sun rises up, she would reach up for that sun and she would bring it back to the palace. She asked the wise man what he thought of her plan. Ya Habibti, you will have to fetch the sun all on your own. Next day, the little princess awoke before the sun had even risen up, and she climbed up that high mountain, and she waited until the sun began to rise up, and she reached up for that sun. But it was still too far. How could anybody reach the sun? She walked down that mountain and into that palace, and she locked herself inside of her room and she wept. From the light coming from the crack of the door, a sheet of paper slid in. She picked up that note and she opened it up and she read it. You will never find the sun locked inside of a dark room. She didn't know how she would get that sun, but she was determined to keep trying, even if she had to climb up that mountain every day. There was a large wall, so tall, covering the palace. She walked to the entrance where that tall wall was, and she placed a sign upon that wall. If anybody knows how to bring the sun to the palace, to please let the young princess know. The word spread far and wide that the young princess wanted to bring the sun to the palace. Most people thought that she was crazy for wishing for that which was impossible. And yet, there were those that thought that she was wise for wishing for that which seemed impossible. But nobody, not one person, knew how to bring the sun to the palace. Just then, from behind her, she noticed a large shadow. She turned around and it was the wise man. Ya Habibti, when your father died, he lit a tall candle and he said that when that candle is fully burned, that will be the day that you are punished, Habibti. That will be the day that you are punished. She ran up the stairs of that palace. She thought that she would never be queen. She dreamed of all the royal garments that she would never wear. And as she was wallowing in her own self-pity, an old man carrying a lantern was trying to get inside. But the guards would not let him in. I have something for the princess. What do you have, old man? I could be of use to her. What could you do for her? Tell the princess that if she won't allow a poor man like me inside of her palace, how does she expect the sun to come in? They pushed him away. The princess opened up the window and she called out to that old man. But it was too late. He was already gone. She summoned the head guard. She asked them to go and fetch that old man and bring him back. But he was nowhere to be found. And she fell to grief. Those words kept repeating inside of her head. If you won't let a poor man like me inside of the palace, how do you expect the sun to come in? What did those words mean? Just then, from the same crack of that door, another note appeared. She picked it up and she opened it up. Yalla, yalla, your candle is about to burn. She summoned the head guard, the one that she knew since birth, the one whom she trusted. She asked him who that old man was. He's just a poor old man who comes to the palace every day trying to get inside. But the guards won't let him in. They say he's crazy. He's just a poor old man who carries his lantern everywhere he goes. Next time he comes, please let him in. But the old man did not come that night, nor did he come the following night. And the young princess grew to depression. She summoned the head guard. Go and bring me all the men carrying their lanterns. All because of that poor old man? Bring me the men with the lanterns. They might be of use to me. That night, as the princess sat at her windowsill looking out at the world, a bright light was coming towards her palace. Thousands of men, all carrying their lanterns, were trying to come inside, but they could not come in. The little princess ordered that all the walls be torn down and all the locked doors be open, so that the men with the lanterns can come inside. She ran down the stairs and she stood beside the head guard and the wise man. I'm sorry, little princess, but I can't make out which one of them is the poor man, for they all look the same under this light. I didn't know that there were so many lanterns in my kingdom. They're afraid of burglars. But the wise man, he disagreed. When darkness comes, every man carries his lantern in order to find his way home. Could you have carried all of those lanterns all on your own? No, of course not. And that is how it is with the sun. It's too much light for any one person to carry. Now I know what my Baba meant. All the men, each carrying their lanterns, become the light that my father spoke of. Yes, Habibti. Yes. And just then, the sun began to rise up above the high mountain, its rays shining so brightly at all the men still carrying their lanterns. This has never happened in my palace before. No, Habibti, never before. Lesh. Because you have torn all the walls and opened all the doors. Don't you remember? The walls were blocking the sun from coming in, and the locked doors were preventing the poor men from entering. But now that you have torn all the walls and opened all the doors, you have allowed the sun into the palace. And then he took a small golden crown and he placed it upon the head of the young princess, and the rubies and the sapphires and the diamonds shone so brightly at those men still carrying their lanterns. You are now our queen, for you have fulfilled your father's wish. You have brought the sun inside of our palace.